Welcome students. In this lecture we will see the locomotion in the leeches. The leeches, that is Hirudinaria granulosa, they perform two types of movements. First type is crawling movement, also called as looping movement. It occurs on the substratum. And second type of movements are the swimming movements, and it occur in the water. We will see these two types of movements one by one. First is looping or crawling movement. Here this movement is performed with the help of muscles and suckers which serve for the attachment in the leech. First, the leech body, it fixes its posterior sucker firmly onto the substratum. Then this posterior sucker, it is aided by the slimy secretion of sucker glands. Then these initiate contraction of circular muscles and relaxation of longitudinal muscles, so that the anterior part of body is extended forward as far as possible. Next, the leech, it fixes its anterior sucker on that substratum. Now the relaxation of circular muscles and contraction of longitudinal muscles releases the posterior sucker from its hold and shortens the body. Then as posterior end is brought forward close to the anterior end, the body is raised up in the middle and it forms a loop like structure. Okay. Once the posterior sucker is fixed at this new position, the anterior sucker is released and this whole process it is get repeated, and this is a type of activity often called as leech like locomotion. Okay. In this way, looping or crawling movement occurs in the leeches. Then second type of movements are swimming movements. The leeches swims about very actively and gracefully in the water. During swimming, the body becomes dorso-ventrally flattened and it performs successive undulating movements. The undulating waves, it passes longitudinally over the body and swimming occurs in the leeches. Okay. Now we will see the digestive system in the leeches. Now we will see the digestive system in the leech. The leech digestive system, it is complete. Mouth and anus are separate and it comprises of 7 to 8 parts, which we will see one by one. First, alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is a complete straight tube and it is of varying diameter. It starts from mouth and it is extended up to the anus. Then this alimentary canal is differentiated into buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, crop, stomach, intestine and rectum. These are the parts of alimentary canal. The buccal cavity, pharynx and rectum, these are lined internally by ectodermal epithelium which is covered by the cuticle. Okay. They perform stomatium and proctadium respectively. Okay, these are the formations respectively, while the rest of the gut, it is lined internally by endodermal epithelium cells, and it forms the midgut or mesenteron. Then the most of the part of alimentary canal, it is called as crop. It is concerned with storage of uncoagulated ingested blood, while only a small portion is concerned with digestion and absorption in the leech body. Okay, first we will see the mouth or pre-oral chamber. The pre-oral chamber, it is a cup-like depression on the ventral side of oral sucker. Its roof is formed by a membrane-like velum which bears triradiate opening. It is called as mouth. Okay. Then mouth leads to the buccal cavity, which is a short chamber behind velum. In its mucous lining, there are three crescentic jaws which are embedded and arranged in a triangle shape. There is one jaw behind each ray or chink of mouth, so that one jaw is mid-dorsal and the other two are ventrolateral in the position. Okay. Then each jaw, it is laterally compressed and it forms muscular cushion covered with fine cuticle which is thickened at the free edge to form a single row of dentils, okay, or teeth. They are formed. The number of denticles present in median jaw are 103 to 128 in number, and 85 to 115 these are present on lateral jaw. Okay. Then next structure is the pharynx. This buccal cavity leads into a highly muscular structure called as pharynx. It is oval sac extending from the fifth segment to the eighth segment of the leech body. Its inner surface, it has various folds called as longitudinal folds. Externally, it is surrounded by large masses of unicellular pyriform glands. These are salivary glands whose ductules are in bundles. They run anteriorly and enter the three jaw to open on their salivary papillae. The secretion of these glands contain hirudin or anticoagulin, which prevent coagulation of the blood while leech is feeding. Okay. Then numerous radial muscles connect the wall of pharynx with the body wall. The next structure, it is esophagus. Esophagus is very short and narrow tube through which pharynx leads into the crop or major structure. It has a very narrow lumen and much folded epithelial lining. The next important structure, it is crop. It comprises the largest portion of the alimentary canal. It is thin-walled, extensive tube occupying about 2/3 of the visceral space, and it extends from 9th segment to 18th segment of the leech body. Crop is divided by a narrow constrictions into a series of 10 chambers. Sometimes it may extend up to 11 chambers. communicating by the circular apertures and surrounded by the sphincters. Then each chamber consists of a small anterior part and a broad posterior part bearing a pair of lateral backwardly directed blind outgrowths, and it has short pockets called as ceca or diverticula. The last or 10th chamber, it is the biggest in size, and its ceca extend as two greatly elongated blind sacs along the intestine and beyond the 22nd segment. Okay. The next structure, it is stomach. Posteriorly, the last chamber of crop, it ends into a funnel shaped tube, and this leads to a sphinctered aperture into a small heart shaped structure called as stomach, which is present in the 19th segment of the leech body. Mucous lining of stomach, it is variously folded. The next part of this alimentary canal is the intestine. Posteriorly, the stomach leads into intestine. It is thin walled, straight, narrow tube which present or runs from 20th segment to the 22nd segment. Its inner lining is also folded, and it has a villi-like process which increases its absorption area. And the last part of this digestive system is the rectum. Intestine is followed by a dilated and thin walled rectum which is present in between 23rd to 26th segments of leech body. It runs slightly upwards and opens to the exterior through a small pore called as anus, which is placed mid-dorsally on the 26th segment. This rectum has internal ciliated cuticular lining and it is without folds.